Well, there's so many, I feel like, variables to that fall within your control as somebody who's training. I mean, you've got intensity, you've got volume, you've got tempo, you've got number of sets per week, which to a novice could feel overwhelming.
Oh yeah.
So what is one to then focus on, if not spinning their wheels on ab machines?
I mean, honestly, if you just like YouTube best practices and lifting weights, common myths and mistakes, and you spend like half a day on the couch YouTubing random podcasts, you'll know most of the stuff. It's not rocket science. Almost everything that I can explain to someone that gets you about 85 or 90% of the best results you'll ever have in the gym, I could write down on a napkin. The intensity, the volume, all that stuff, it can actually be explained in very human terms, and it's very, very straightforward. But, you know, there are a lot of straightforward things in life that you could have done very, very differently. And it's just, okay, this is actually the way to do it. And all these other ways just don't do anything. For example, if you're like flying a fighter jet or something, the joystick makes the plane do this and this and this and that, right? The throttle just makes it go faster or slower. If you think the joystick and throttle are reversed, you've only made one logical error, but that incapacitates your ability to operate the aircraft completely. And if someone just like, you know, you're flying this, you wake up in a fighter jet, you're like, oh my God, what the hell is going on? And some guy pops up on a video screen. He's like, check this out. That thing right here, it moves the plane like this. And the thing here goes faster or slower. Got it? You're like, thank you. It's not complicated. It was very easy to explain. But if you never looked it up, your time in a fighter plane could, well, just be not so long and very confusing. And so in the gym, a lot of the super basics, and you and I can right here go down the list of what to do, it can be explained in several sentences. No problem, with no jargon or anything. But again, most people just don't look into it. They just don't.
I feel like there are two camps. I mean, there are a lot of camps, but I've seen many argue that full body workouts multiple times a week seem to be the most conducive to they argue, I guess, that it seems to be the most conducive to muscle gain, whereas others adopt a more split-based approach. I've noticed that you do. It seems like from your social media that you prefer like a more split-style regimen. Are there pros and cons to either approach? Like I personally enjoy a split. You know, I don't like doing a full body workout I like to be able to go into the gym and focus specifically on, you know, like a push day or a pull day, etc.
So a lot of it depends on who the target population is. I'm a competitive bodybuilder. Full body workouts, almost no one in competitive bodybuilding does, because for many reasons. One is most of us in competitive bodybuilding are strong enough and require a very specific kind of technique to get the best results that we can, that the context switch between training legs and chest and arms and back in the same workout is just untenable. The amount of time it takes to warm up, you hit your arms, great. Now you got to hit chest. You're like, I got to warm up my chest. I got to find the chest machines. I got to connect with my chest. I got to reconnect with all the technique. And then halfway through your workout, like time for legs. You're like, oh my God, really? And so it's not an ideal situation. That being said, for almost everyone else, including in some cases, competitive bodybuilders, whole body workouts are absolutely fantastic. But whether you choose a split or a whole body workout is a surface level understanding of what's going on. One level deeper, we can access what are the determining factors that lead to even the creation of splits versus whole body. And that is muscles need to be stimulated, and they need roughly two things in this context. Enough volume, that is like stimulation, doing this stuff per week on average. That means you can do whole body every day, so your biceps get a little bit of training 4 days a week. Or you have like 2 bicep days and 2 days where you don't touch biceps at all. As long as you do more volume on those 2 days and less on those 4 days, roughly the same volume, you're good to go. The other one is frequency, and that's how often you train a muscle. And generally speaking, if you can train a muscle between, the average answer is 2 to 4 times per week, but really it's 2 to 6 times per week, gets you very, very close to the same gains. And so if someone's like, okay, so whole body every day, you're like, okay, so that means you train your quads, if you train 4 days a week, 4 times. And if someone's like, what about an upper lower split routine, upper body one day, lower the next, upper body one day, lower the next. You train your quads twice. We'll look back to what's the right frequency, 2 to 4 times a week. We're good. We're good on all fronts. So whether or not you do whole body or a split routine is actually like makes this much difference in your results. But it looks like a big feature. It looks like, whoa, which one should I use? It actually doesn't much matter as long as you're getting a lot of volume, a sufficient amount of volume that challenges your muscles, but also allows them some windows for recovery so that every week you're not like, I quit life. Every week you're like, oh, this is tough. And then by the end of the week, you're like, all right, time for week 2. And enough frequency that's somewhere between training a muscle roughly twice a week, all the way, if you really insist, 6 times a week. It's all correct answers as long as you have a plan that you're like, oh, this is a plan I like, and you can be consistent. And to weave that back to your first question, what are the common mistakes? Number 2, and these are not ranked in order of explain the variance, but consistency. Consistency problems are a big deal. And they're a big deal in a very interesting way, if it's okay if I can explain.
Yeah, please.
Okay. So people mistake a maniacal dedication for consistency. And they think, okay, consistency, that means if I tell myself I'm going to train 4 days a week, if I train 3 days in a week, I have been inconsistent. That is the wrong thing to do. And it borders on like cheating on your girlfriend or something level of like, I didn't interact with that man inappropriately from a female perspective. Success. That man I resisted. Success. That man I did hook up with. My boyfriend doesn't know about it. Total failure. That lifting is not a relationship and it's not a 1 or 0 game. And so consistency really means not having a ton of weeks, multi-week periods, or many month periods in the year, we simply disappear from the gym. So consistency is a bit nuanced and is best seen as if you say, like, I'm going to make it to the gym 4 times a week in 2025 or whatever, tell yourself, look, if my life isn't just like an airplane crash at the time, 2 times a week, every week. And if I can, 3 or even 4 times a week on the good weeks, that's consistency. And so what a lot of people do is they go polar opposite instead of just that kind of middle of the road. Middle of the road is like, yeah, 2 to 4 times a week. I think 2 is great. If I can do 4, amazing. And we go from there. On the not so great weeks, hey, look, even sometimes you skip a week or you just go once. That's still a part of your pattern of life. It's still a habit. And in your sort of cognitive space, you haven't abandoned working out as you haven't taken it from the category of things you do and put it into things you used to do and are now ashamed of that you don't do anymore. So that kind of middle of the road weaving and being gentle with yourself, but also affirming to yourself, like, I am capable of doing these things. I am a successful person. I can run a schedule. I am a commitment-oriented person. But also I understand that life is flexible and my relatives are here for Thanksgiving. I'm not going to the gym 4 days a week. I'm going once or twice. I might even not go this week, but next week I'm coming back. A lot of people make the consistency mistake on sort of opposite ends of the spectrum where they'll go 5 days a week, every week. And as soon as it doesn't happen 1 week, they're like, I'm not going to the gym. And then they'll skip 2, 3, 4 weeks because they've, again, taken that understanding of who they are as a person who works out and now switch to person who used to work out. And there's guilt there and there's shame there. And there's, oh my God, like, what will people at the gym think about me? What kind of person am I even to come back to this thing? And well, life's just tough right now. I'll come back to it down the road. And he says, oh, it turns almost into this kind of spiritual journey, this super pointless. In reality, that middle ground of mostly doing a good job, same thing with healthy eating. You eat a cheeseburger, man, no, God's not coming down from heaven to strike you down right away. Unless it was a really tasty cheeseburger with a lot of calories, then you're doing some time. But it's more like, hey, like, is it all cheeseburgers this week? Like, no, most of my meals have been healthy. Like, you and I would both be like, listen, you're doing great. You're not going to poison yourself off one thing. And if you skip a week at the gym, nobody's going to die. You're not going to die. You're good. Come back. By the way, no one at the gym even knows who you are or cares. You're always welcome back. But that polarization of consistency means I'm there like a machine. And if I'm not consistent, I've been immoral, and I'm now relegated to, I don't even go to the gym until I can really muster up the re-architecting of my identity back to, okay, this bad time of my life when I've been a bad person is over now. New me is back 5 days again. And a lot of the times that really pairs with people creating workout expectations and plans and schedules for themselves that are aspirational more than realistic. There's plenty of things in your life that you could do that are aspirational. Working out shouldn't be one of them. Working out only benefits you if you actually make it happen. And it benefits you a huge amount if you just show up to the gym 2 or 3 times a week, most weeks. And if you show up to the gym 5 days a week, it only benefits you a little bit more. And people think 5 days a week, if I planned it, gets me all these crazy results. And if I go 4 days a week, I'm losing muscle. I'm backpedaling now. And that couldn't be further from the truth. So that's kind of what I've seen people bring as a mental space to the idea of consistency in working out. And unfortunately, that's kind of a foul ball almost every single time if you think about it.
Hey, if you liked that video, you need to check out this one here, and I'll see you there.